Late night, screens glow, coffee cold, minds woke, 2 mics, 1 code, yeah, yeah. Scrolling through the chaos, headlines loud, hearts numb, then I hear that drip talk. Cutting through the hum, gem with the side eye, true stain with the data in his cup. They don't just gas up dreams, they show you how to level up. Oh, from the hustle to the headlines, from the culture to the grind. Every angle, every timeline, they lace and never waste your time. Welcome to the daily drip, let it run, let it run, let it hit. Oh, tech and politics, stacking common sense, turn it up, feel it in your chest, clicking, let your future flip like describe your own ascent, every gem, every take, every tip, and oh, yeah, they make it make sense, yeah. I'm tired from the doom feed, faith in rent thick, algorithm playing mind games, selling you the same quick fix, then I catch that real talk about credit scores and crypto slips, union fights and AI rights, and why your boss be talking slick. Left lane, right lane, truth rise in the same frame. If it's cap, they call names. If it's facts, they fan flames. Oh yeah. Welcome to the daily drip. Let it run, let it run, let it run, let it hit. Tech and politics, stacking common sense, turn it up, feel it in your chest, clicking. Let your future flip like describe your own ascent. Every gem, every take, every tip, and yeah, they make it make sense. Yeah. From your psychic to your 9 to 5, from the group chat to the bottom line, there's a late night guide through the glitch and grind. If you listen close, you gon' change your life. Change your life. Welcome to the daily drip. Let it run, let it run, let it run, let it hit. Hey, tech and politics, stacking common sense, turn it up, feel it in your chest, dig in. Let your future flip like subscribe to your own ascent. Every gem, every take, every tip. Our daily drip, they make it make sense.
Hey y'all, welcome to our Daily Drip Show. I am your solo host today with our Daily Drip Show. Thank you for coming and hanging out with me tonight. If you haven't hit that like button, go ahead and do that. If you're not subscribed, go ahead and do that. And if you're a little skeptical, just hang tight so we can get into the content so I can tell you why. So first off, I'm Jem Jones. How y'all doing? I have over a decade of tech experience as well as a few other industries. And I'm coming to you with not only just a female perspective, but a little bit and a lot of bit of my experience as well. Make sure y'all drop some drip in the comments. Let me know where you're from. Let me know if you have any comments about what we're talking about. We're going to do a mix of politics, news, media. You just never know. Plain Dame is not with me tonight, but he will be back next week. So there's no other housekeeping. Wait a minute. In the background is the producer. Cash is paid. Shout out to the people Cash is paid.
What up, everybody?
He's going to help me keep things going and flowing. And a few remarks. Oh, you go ahead.
Here
You
and
go ahead,
there.
continue.
Here and there. That's it.
All right, y'all. So listen, we're going to get right into it. Something strange is happening. Policies around birth, life, and let's talk about death. And all these things are shifting at the same time. So we're going to talk about pregnancy. We're going to talk about retirement. We're going to talk about death. It's not random, y'all. It's very much a pattern I want to talk about. So first off, we're going to talk about Ohio bill. It's HB 249. Y'all like, I don't know these numbers. I don't know what it is. Oh, that's a Plain Dame is in the comments. Shout out to Plain Dame. So we're going to go ahead and talk about this House Bill 249. This is from the state of Ohio. Now, I want to show y'all what's going on over there. This was dropped 6 days ago. So this is new. I have not heard anybody talking about it. So we're going to talk about, well, obviously MSN Now, but we're going to have some chat on that too.
Margaret Atwood joined the Velshi Band Book Club to talk about her seminal dystopian novel, The Handmaid's Tale. She reminded us that she got all the ideas for the book set in a near-future autocratic theocracy from actual history, from real things that had happened in the world and could happen again. She actually kept the newspaper clippings that she used as research when she wrote this book in 1985. And this week, there's a story out of the state of Ohio that reads like a building block of Gilead come to life. Ohio Republicans introduced a bill that would allow the government to track every pregnancy from beginning to end. The measure, called House Bill 754,
754. Sorry, y'all. So, Ohio bill. Now, he talked about Handmaid's Tale. I don't know if y'all read that in high school. I did. Basically, women who didn't follow the plan of what needed to happen in like a high level situation. I'm not gonna get in the crevices of like why and who and all those things, but if you are not following the plan, then these policies are made for you to do what we tell you to do. Long story short. This was around the same time of what's that book where they had to wear the A? It's another one too. But there was a bunch.
Scarlet Letter.
There you go, Scarlet Letter. There you go. Yeah. Around the same time as Scarlet Letter, like those are similar books, similar concepts, similar books. So why is that relevant today, right? This House bill is going to talk about tracking. And let's think about it from a tech perspective before we get into this. The reason why it would be even an option to track is because technology has advanced so much that you'd be able to. So keep that in mind as they go through this. And shout out to Joe. Joe's in the chat. And we got some new subscribers too. So I'm gonna shout some of y'all out. So if you're a new subscriber, drop your name in the chat and I'll shout you out as well. But shout out to Joe. He's been a long-standing fan. Odd Squad. Appreciate you.
Okay. You're also getting that post-workout creatine in there. That's what I'm talking about. Although studies have shown that it doesn't matter when you take creatine.
You said it doesn't matter?
Whenever, as long as it's within a 24-hour period, it should work for you. It also has extreme neurological gains. That's it.
Message. All right, so let's get in this House bill.
Create a state-run registry of pregnancies, requiring medical providers to file a certificate of life within the Ohio Department of Health within 10 days of examining a pregnant patient and detecting a fetal heartbeat. It's worth noting here that what we call a fetal heartbeat is more accurately described as fetal heart activity, which the Cleveland Clinic notes begins as the cells that will later form the fetal heart begin to cluster early in the first trimester and can create electrical pulses. The medical provider would be required to provide a copy of that certificate of life to the pregnant woman. The bill also mandates that fetal deaths be registered with the state and that providers specify whether a pregnancy ended in miscarriage, abortion, or stillbirth.
Now, let's keep this in mind. I know we talk a lot, like we hear a lot about abortion. States have different times that you can be viable to get an abortion, right? I believe in Ohio, I don't think Ohio is like one of those strict ones. I want to say they might be like 16, 22 weeks, something like that. 16 weeks is 4 months. I think some of them are typically between like 4 or 5 months. I think we talked about one state, was it Cali? I think Cali let you go up to like 8 months or something like that. But Ohio, from what I understand, is not on that part of the wave. But we're talking about 4 or 5 months, right? Like somebody could miss their cycle and, not know for a couple months. At the end of the day, like previously to this, and it's not a current law today, but in current state, if that were to happen, you go get an abortion if you want to, and then nobody knows. But according to this, let's say you 4 months, it's legal, but we're going to still make a death certificate and we're going to track that you had.
Oh, they're making death certificates, and that's a precursor
correct.
to making
That'll
it
be
illegal.
correct.
Yeah,
and then But I want to, before he gets into this a little bit deeper, miscarriages are, I think they say it's like every 2 out of 3. It's a high percent of pregnancies are miscarriages. But this also says we don't really care if you wanted to get rid of the baby or not. If that if that fetus dies, if anything with a heartbeat no longer has a heartbeat, we want record of that. Period. That is massive. I could not imagine you really wanted your baby and you have a miscarriage and you have to literally name, right? You have to go through the process of a death certificate. To me, that's horrible. Yeah, that's really, really horrible. But I think it's for tracking purposes to know how often people are able or unable to. And really, I think they're trying to track population. Keep that in mind as we go through this. Cassius Pay, do you have anything else you want to add before I move forward?
Yeah, I can probably chime in a little bit on this one. I think this is Ohio wanting to do a formal registry on every
That's what he said.
pregnancy.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So the death certificate thing is a little weird, but it's a new state level database on reproductive history. And that you can take that as you will, whether it's on the negative or positive side of it. Maybe it's to create a different level of taxation base. It's just we're getting a little bit deep.
Well, you could get laws on how many at that point. Like you could really say, look, you filed 10 death certificates in 8 years. You need to get your uterus taken.
I mean,
I'm just saying, but that's the Handmaid's Tale
you.
thing he's talking about here. Like that's that connection where
I think is that we
policing.
already have a birth rate problem. So
Mhm.
it sounds like it's just maybe a particular group, a particular demographic that we're trying to lower birth rates for, whether it's financial or otherwise. But I am not here for it, whichever one this is.
Yeah,
wow.
in my opinion,
he's doing some ill stuff down there. I'm glad he ain't online today because he's in these comments going crazy.
Yeah. So my thing on this, and I'll drop the link so we can move to our next topic. But my thing on this is there's a variation of reasons why the baby or the fetus or wherever you are in that journey may or may not have happened. I think that there's just a level of accountability that the state is trying to hold people to. Now, keep in mind, if I'm in Ohio, ain't I just gonna go to Kentucky, Michigan, Pennsylvania, Virginia, New York? Like, wouldn't I just go to another state?
Well, yeah, but if other states adopt this kind of scenario, then now you're getting cornered.
I would be super surprised if New York,
a whole bunch of people flying to California.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I can't imagine Cali would take this. Yeah, Cali, Colorado. I just couldn't.
Those are
even Virginia, I'd be surprised if they adopted that. I'd be very surprised. So, in Illinois as well. So, we'll see. Keep an eye close to this. But the reason why I wanted to bring that up is because we're going to slide into. Let's talk about where people are populating. So we talked about, people being unable to carry it through for the most part, right? Or who is having these babies. Let's look at where people are moving. So there's been a population change. I think it said, what did it say? 10. Yeah. So it said the US population grew by 10 million, up 3.1% from 2020 to 2025. But let's see where. So we talked about there's a bunch of people, not having babies, right? But it sure looks like everybody moving to Texas, Florida, North Carolina, Georgia, and Arizona. They sure going there. Now, I do find that ironic, though. I would love to see, since everything that's happened lately, if they were to run this, I would say next year. Because those states also scream to me immigration. Right? Drop some drip in the comments. Do y'all think that immigration plays a part? Or do y'all think that this is just people wanting to move and being able to move, or job, capability in some of these states? As we talk about that House bill, for example, let's see, where is Ohio on this list? Ohio is way down here. So, I mean, let's say they do pass that. That's not as significant as if one of these passed that up there, right? We talk about seeing how their population moves.
But one of these, say it out loud for those who might be driving or listening.
One of these, meaning the top, we'll name top 7. Top 7 is people have migrated plus 2.6 million in Texas. In Florida, 1.9 million. North Carolina, 757,000. Georgia, 589,000. Arizona, 466,000. South Carolina, 425,000. And Tennessee is up 403,000. Now, like I said, I'm curious if they ran this again in 2027. What's that looking like for a couple of reasons? One, there was a lot of booms of industries that moved to these places. So for example, Tennessee, a lot of companies went to Nashville, right? So there's an influx of people moving their families, them moving there. Also Georgia, I mean, they have a lot of airline industries. They also have a lot of government contracts, a lot of parts and stuff like that. Government contracts are in Georgia. Atlanta itself is huge with businesses. Even people you don't hear about it as much, but Atlanta has a lot of money and its surrounding areas. Marriott, all these different places near Atlanta, they do have a lot of money in Georgia. North Carolina, I've heard a lot of people talk about North Carolina. If I'm not mistaken, correct me if I'm wrong, there's a lot of insurance companies that have migrated to North Carolina as well. And then Florida, think about it. During the pandemic, everybody was dipping to Florida because Florida was outside.
You're missing one significant one that has population growth that a lot of people may not really know about. And I only know because I work in certain industries where people generally get to move around ahead of the curve. And that state, believe it or not, is Idaho. Yes.
Oh yeah, Idaho was big. Where are they at on this?
No,
Idaho was up 19,000.
Between 2020 and 2025, 10% population growth. That's bigger than Florida.
Oh, I'm sorry. This is percentage change. It says
percentage change is gonna be Idaho.
Yeah. So the greener it is, so Texas is a 10% percentage change in population growth. Idaho is also. If y'all can't see the map, they're ranking it by how many people, but also there's a color coded. So Cassius Pay is talking about what percent of the actual change was, and he's right. So Idaho is a huge percent. Utah was a big percent. South Carolina, Texas, Florida, those are all 10%. Delaware, Montana, they weren't top ones. Nevada, those weren't top ones, but on the amount of people, but just the fact that amount itself was upward to 10%. So I don't know. Can you see the map okay?
Yeah, they can when I switch you over. So it's
can't do that.
Oh, you're good. You can leave it where it is.
Okay.
Yeah, but so let's speak to the significance about this. Certain states have certain things that are incentives to various groups. Most of it is tax-based situations. The other might be favorable weather, although people have been generally moving from south to north. When it came to Rust Belt situations, they were chasing certain industries, which would have been your Fords, your steel mills, your General Motors, those types of things. Now, because we're no longer manufacturing heavy, we don't really make our own shit anymore. It's a shame. People are starting to move back to where the weather is instead, right? Weather, tax incentives, and I think it's mostly for the weather, especially as the population gets older. A lot of older people want to move down into the Sun Belt, is what it's called. So that means moving to Texas, Arizona. People avoid California at all costs because of the taxes there.
Yeah, taxes is high.
People, you don't really hear a lot of people going to Alabama like that, but they actually probably, I'm going to say in the next 10 years, because of the the colleges that are down there, it's industry that's growing in that area, especially in defense, and we already know where we at with that. So that those areas, Huntsville, Alabama, stuff like that, is probably going to grow. And I think that those might be the places to start looking at once the taxes, or they find initiatives and incentives for industries to move there when they're ready, right? And that's more so Bible Belt than Sun Belt, is what they used to be called, rather.
Yeah, also the land. Shout out to Plain Dame. Yeah, the land also is cheaper in a lot of these places as well. So we're gonna pivot a little bit as we talked about who's moving, right? We talked about, hey, we want people to have babies, babies, but we don't talk about death either. I know it's kind of like a crazy kind of segue, but you'll see why.
Speaking of Sun Belt,
I know. Speaking of Sun Belt,
okay.
But listen, so look at those states we just talked about, and look, this is called death with dignity. I found it interesting, and I'm starting to lose my voice. The states that allow this. So there are states that it's legal. There's some that are considering it, and some that are not. What is death with dignity? You ask. Well, that is the decision to say, you know what? I'm not gonna be here no more. So go ahead and take me out when I want to be taken out. That is what death with dignity is. It's kind of a newer adopted concept. And we'll get to that
in a second. Is it a new concept?
Oh, we'll get to that in a second. But I want to talk about the states, as we were talking about states. So Arizona was on that list, remember? They're considering it. Another state that was on that list was North Carolina, right? They're also considering it. Oh, another state that was on that list, Georgia. They're also considering it. I find that interesting. What was the other one? It was Tennessee, right? Wasn't it Tennessee?
Yeah.
They're considering it. So these are states which I find interesting that they're considering it, because back in the day, you could make that decision. So I bring that up to say it's been an interesting feat to see how society is changing to allow people a choice, right? When we talk about a choice to have a baby, but in the past, we never talked about the choice to die, right? Like nobody ever gave that. But I remember growing up as a kid, and my dad used to be like, I can't believe, you know what? Dr. Kevorkian just be doing what people ask him to do. Who's Dr. Kevorkian, you ask? Dr. Kevorkian was a doctor back in the day that was basically death with dignity. But back then, that was not legal. You were not doing that. So let's hear.
What are you talking about? He went to jail for that.
Yeah, we're about to talk about that. But now
Okay.
I'm just saying they're doing it now, and he went to jail for nothing.
It wasn't for nothing. It was just new truths happen. That's where we at with it.
It was always that. That's all I'm saying. It was always that. He just did what the people asked him to do. But let's get into that. We want to talk about people with their bodies and that we want to have the babies. But we don't want to talk about people's bodies and they don't want to be here anymore and they're adults. So let's hear about Dr. Kevorkian.
Issue of doctor-assisted suicide squarely into the national spotlight. Dr. Jack Kevorkian died today at a hospital in Michigan. Ray Suarez has our report.
Yeah, I think of it.
He was an outspoken, retired medical pathologist from Michigan who became known as Dr. Death. Jack Kevorkian said he helped more than 130 terminally ill people die between 1990 and 1998. He used a device of his own invention, a suicide machine.
You have to bleep that out later in the edit. Thanks.
Now look. Well, that's what it was called.
All right.
Now look.
Well, I hope we.
I'll bleep it. I'll bleep it. So look at this man. He called it an unalive machine, and basically he is kind of the prototype for death with dignity, right? Somebody has to be the person to lay the groundwork for different opportunities. And so I found it interesting that I just want to bring up Dr. Kevorkian for a second to is a concept that essentially he kind of brought up that wasn't okay back then. And now people are asking for it. People are asking for this. But at the same time, drop the drip in the comments. Do you think that if people should be allowed to have, no longer have the fetus on their own decisions, that you should also have the right to decide to use the unalive machine? And do you find significance in the states that have the populations that's increasing, as well as those with the death with dignity? Are you surprised by those? Do you think that, even different political views play a part in that? Remember, Texas was the #1 state that people moved in that amount of time. They are not making that legal. So let me know what y'all think. Do y'all think there's any correlation to any of this? Drop some drip in the comments. Well, as we talked about death with dignity, I'm gonna add a little more to it. Let's talk about retirement, because I think that more folks might be looking at moving to some of them states if this gets passed, y'all. So, raising the retirement age. Y'all hear about that? Drop some drip in the comments. Drop some drip.
That's a slow death that is undignified.
Look, that's why we going on through this. Drop some drip in the comments. Would you want to retire later than what you originally thought you would? Matter of fact, how old do you think you're going to be when you retire?
Move on with this. I did want to put in like a little bit of a flavor on it. So the first thing is that, there's as of 2026, like you said, there's probably at least 10 states plus DC that formally allow some sort of medical aid for the unaliving process. And some people are in grave pain, and I understand that. So, I'm not saying that I'm for or against, but I understand. Montana also effectively allows it through a 2009 court ruling, bringing authorized count to like 11 jurisdictions, where you got New York and others actively going to join it. But on this one, I'll just say this, because a lot of people aren't like choosing this as a thing, right? So fewer than 1% of eligible patients actually use this option, but well over 70% of pollsters say that they want to at least have the option, right? They want to have the option. Not that they would use it, but it is about choice. At least the illusion of it.
Yeah, so that's what I'm getting at here is we started talking about choice, right? And then on top of choice, there is tracking, right? Going on with the level of choice for the whole, I no longer have this fetus present, to people are moving, people are populating, which, like I said, I would love to see the numbers in about a year to see if that goes down because of immigration, or if not, maybe that's just people just saying, maybe it's not, we'll see. And then also going into how if people are being on one side, they should have the right to, decide what they want to do with their bodies. Shouldn't they be able to decide what to do with their bodies at the end? And more importantly, shouldn't you have the right to?
So Joe said from cervix to crucifix.
There you go. You got it. And then from there, shouldn't you have the right to retire without you being crispity crunchity? Well,
I mean, you can do that if you can afford to do it. There's a lot of people that do that.
Government said, nah, you gotta listen to what the government said. They're trying to propose on that, according to Elizabeth Warren. Drop some drip in the comments. Let me know.
My grandfather retired when he was.
Them days is done. Whatever number you about to say, it's over. It's over.
He said
That's
it is over with. They was like, you can stay. He was like, F y'all. Nah, I'm done.
So drop some drip in the comments. Let me know what age you think that you can retire. Drop that number in there. Let me know what age you think you're going to retire or that you would like to retire.
Chairman, so when he ran for president in 2024, Donald Trump repeatedly promised that he, quote, wouldn't touch Social Security. And as soon as he took office, he immediately directed Elon Musk, who thinks that Social Security is a Ponzi scheme, to doge his way through the Social Security Administration. He slashed staff. He created new administrative hurdles that make it harder for Americans to get their checks, money that they earned. That is effectively a benefits cut. Now, Senate Democrats have fought back, and we have forced the Trump administration to reverse course on some of their most harmful policies, but this fight is not over.
So she's going to get into, so she set the stage of basically she's saying, Donnie is the reason why I'm here because he didn't do what he said he was going to do. He's touching the benefits. And I'm going to tell you the benefits of the ones he's touching, how it's not fair to taxpayers. So let's hear what. Drop some drip in the comments. If you think Elizabeth Warren's cap, drop a cap. If you agree with her, put a thumbs up.
Social Security Administration is still facing a customer service crisis, and the Trump administration and the Republicans are still looking for ways to cut Social Security. So their current approach is make Americans work until they drop dead. So just listen to what Trump's appointees are saying. When asked about raising the retirement age, Social Security Administrator Frank Bisignano said, quote, everything is being considered and will be considered. Mr. Adcock, you are a Social Security expert. How would raising the retirement age affect Americans' benefit?
Now, before she get into that, she's about to get into some numbers. So I want you to think about the numbers that she drops, multiply it by the years that you think would be the gap. Because I think they're looking towards like this around like 70. So whatever number you have, and I say, oh, what year, how old do you think you're going to be when you retire? Take that minus the years of 70, and then take this number she's going to give you and multiply it by that. So if you think it's 5 years, take 5 and multiply it by the number she's about to give it to you.
Well, simply put, it's a benefit cut. It doesn't matter whether you claim Social Security benefits at 62 or 70 or how long you live, it's a benefit cut in any way you slice it. And so for every year you decide that you're going to raise the retirement age, you're taking about you're losing $24,000 of income for every year.
$24,000 a year for every year that you work with raising the year. So if your year is you retire at 62, if they took your 62 and said, well, you about to do it to 70, that means that's 24 grand by 5 that you would lose in benefits is what the math is saying.
Yeah, effectively, what's going on is they're going to be pilfering from both ends. How this looks like from my perspective, people are getting chronic diseases earlier in life anyway, right? Paying into these, we'll say these pools of money, and the less people, as you increase the age, and people, are dying in late 60s. From different chronic diseases, et cetera, it leaves more money for others, especially as we start getting into higher level incomes and stuff like that. Because it was Social Security credits that people pool in to the pot. So it is definitely looking like a Ponzi scheme the way that it's going.
Yeah, I mean, also, and I'll let him talk, but I'll add this little bit. To me, it's pushing, you need to save for your own retirement. That's what it seems to me, is that you need to go make all your own money to take care of yourself than thinking that we're going to pay for you.
Well, if that is happening, then it's essentially just an extra tax. And so I don't need that then.
Well, more so, and to me, I think of it as like, imagine the money we give you for Social Security is like a refund check. Like, it's not anything. It's not like you're going to live off of this. It's just a little sprinkle. Go buy something nice. Like, but whatever other money you had in our IRAs, 401k, stocks, investments, that's what you live off of. This right here, this is a little, that's a little, put some money in your card. Don't live off that. That's what that's telling me.
Dan brings up a really good point. You have to retire you at this point.
Basically.
Especially because families used to stick together as well. Grandma, great grandma would be in the house and people would take care of them in their time of need because they took care of them when they were babies. That's no longer happening. We made a complete industry out of shoveling our elderly into group homes and having them, pass away on a cot somewhere versus being in the home, having a longer stint of longevity because there's life around them. I'm a big believer in this, that if you have someone elderly, you need to keep them close because you keep them young. So we'll go off into that. I'm going on a tangent here, but
all right, I'll play a little bit more and then we'll get to our next topic.
But then in your future benefits, for every year that it's increased, you're losing about 7% of your benefits.
So raising the retirement age on Social Security by 1 year costs $24,000, and over your lifetime is about a 7% benefit cut. Is that
for each year?
For each year.
Yeah, that's right.
For each year.
So because some of the proposals that are being discussed would raise it from 67 to 69 or 67 to 70.
So if you go to 70, if you do the math, how big is the cut?
Well, the math ends up being, it's a 20% future cut.
A 20% future cut.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Frank Bisignano is not alone in this. After the Republicans blew trillions of dollars on a tax cut for their rich buddies in.
So we can stop before she get on her tangent. We know you don't like Doge. We know that you don't mess with Elon like that. We know that they trying to figure out where they're gonna move this money. At the end of the day, where they gonna move this money?
They both triple with this one. So Joe says, bring back having grandma live in the basement. Like, damn, grandma don't get a room. That's and then homeboy says, palace behind the hot water tank. Hug that water tank, grandma or grandpa. Get comfy.
Nah, y'all ain't right.
Ooh wee.
Y'all ain't right.
But it's funny though.
So drop some drip in the comments. Do y'all think that that's cap? Put a cap. If y'all think that you agree that this is absurd and that if they raise your retirement age 1 extra year, you about to be real mad. Put a thumbs up.
Yeah, it's a button this one up. I'll just say two things, right? When you change the retirement from 67 to 70, that'll be people born 1981 or older. And when you phase that in, it's you adding 2 months per birth year for everybody on that one. But when you're doing this, the lifetime benefits are cut by thousands of dollars every year for average earners, which is effectively these three things: live longer, work longer, and retire with less, please. Good day.
You talk about sitting up. They talk about getting their laundry done in the comments, getting their laundry done by grandma.
Shit, at least grandma know how to wash clothes, cause sometimes mama don't know how to wash clothes. So
getting fed, y'all.
I tell grandma tell you about the baking soda that you're supposed to put in some clothes, even some peroxide. Sometimes people going around with them funky ass leggings that they going around with all the damn time, smelling like catfish. Nasty.
Well,
speaking of catfish.
No, grandma got these skills. Some of these grandmas got these skills because they were home or their men were off to war or doing the heavy labor jobs. Your grandma got a lot of these skills for that. Now, that's a good segue into the military. So we're going to get into some of our military talk going on here. The Army made a big change to enlistment. what age do you think that the oldest you can be in the military is? Drop some drip in the comments. What age y'all think it is? I'll wait. Well, they said, listen, it used to be 34. Come on over at 42. You all right? Come on over here. Come on over here. You had to be at basic training before you turn 35, but now you got till 43. Go ahead and sign up for your boy. Hexus. He said, sign up for your boy.
What 42-year-old in the US they think they gonna get? Because I go to the gym, so I can see people who can't do no damn pull-ups around here.
And a lot of them,
and they
you know
22.
What? Listen, Gen Z was at our necks in the comments on that Gen Z video. Listen, they said if they mama gonna be at the interview, y'all need to stop playing. They said you older generation, y'all the ones using the AI. But my mama ain't AI. She in the trenches with me. She in this interview right here whispering. Right there. That ain't AI, baby. That's my mama. Leave Gen Z alone. They gonna come for us in them comments. They were very, very upset.
Dame said old ass soldiers. I mean, they gotta get corrective eye surgery first if they think they're gonna go out on that line.
They do have LASIK eye surgery that the military pays for. I only know that because my friend's husband had got his eyes did for
they made sure you can see. They was like, hold on.
Yeah, no, he got his eyes did. They paid for the whole thing. They said, go ahead, take that time off and come back.
Yeah, go ahead and bring your ass back.
Also, they remove the waiver. So they also have a waiver for a single conviction of marijuana or a single drug paraphernalia possession.
Oh, possession.
You get in the list. So if you got a little, I ain't got nothing but a little possession charge. Hex have said, come on over. You 40? Come on over. Come on over. Put that camera on. We got a job for you. What y'all think? Online thoughts. Online thoughts. A bunch of people are bringing up millennial trauma. Boomers weren't quite done with the effing over millennials. So millennials are like, so listen, I already can't get no house.
Right.
You boomers is gonna tell me, look, I'm too old to go, but you's a punk if you don't go. What? They would have told me to go. I would have went.
It's like, get your young old ass out there with that gun and go get some shit done. With your young old ass. Please. And then try to get this GI Bill when you get back. It ain't gonna work.
Good luck.
Right.
Someone said it'll be 81 by August.
Right.
Also drip in the comments. Do you think that this is a good thing? Do you think people wanted to enlist and because they had a little charge, or they're just a little too old that they couldn't get in? I got a quick story. It's real brief. I actually knew of somebody who wanted to enlist and literally had to put everything in because they were turning 35. So they had to get through the boot camp and the training and all that before they turned 35 so they could be in the military. They would have been like a officer or something like that. Maybe they were 35. I can't remember how old they were, but they were whatever age it is to be an officer, and they had to pass the test and all that before their birthday. Now,
did they have like their college degree first and all that? So they were just trying to get in, sneak in real quick.
Doctor.
Oh, it's a doctor. Okay, they was gonna take them anyway. They was gonna give them waivers and stuff.
Yeah, but they still had to.
Yeah, they still got to pass.
Be under that age. Like that was non-negotiable. They had to be under that age. And so with this,
they say that.
But think of it this way. I think you could be older. I think as an officer, and if that's the case, if you taking everybody at 43, you're gonna be taking 50-year-old officers. Then, if that's the case.
Oh, shoot. I mean, that's how it goes anyway. Like when it's a certain situation where you running out of people to put in that meat grinder, you gonna start looking around for bologna, South meat, Vienna sausages. You gonna put everything in there. So the U.S. Army just raised that maximum enlistment from 35 to 42. That is ill. In some cases, with updated rules, it's gonna come into effect April 20th, 2026. That's right around the corner.
Sure is. But
Yeah.
we got to keep in mind, what does the world think about the U.S.? Maybe that's why we need to make sure we got more bodies, more buy-in. Maybe that's a part of Make America Great Again, is people having more people really believe in being a part of America. Like historically, going in to be a part of the military is like, America type of thing. So who knows? Maybe that's part of the whole bigger picture. But let's hear what these UK people, these are some UK reporters, what they got to say about the United States and some of the things going on. I think this is interesting for me to hear, at least.
Nearly a year ago, we were covering the NATO summit. And at that time, NATO countries were falling over themselves to please Donald Trump. Mark Rutte was pretty much lecturing NATO about how they needed to do more. This was the summit famously where he ended up calling Trump daddy. Daddy, of course, had to swear at those naughty countries. And this was just after Trump had struck Iran for the first time and declared that he had obliterated Iran's nuclear capabilities. I think that was 6 months into the Trump second term, where Europe was saying, well, he has got a point. We haven't spent as much as we should. We can't be dependent on America for all our defense forevermore. All of NATO was coming together, and well done, Donald Trump, for showing us the path. 6 months later.
Okay. So she gave some context of when Donnie got in, what were they willing to do? What were their perspective of the United States, of Donnie? You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, yes. Do what you want us to do. Now, listen to how she starts speaking about the United States and Donald Trump from moving on.
Donald Trump is talking about invading Greenland at Davos. They don't really know what to make of that. He's already kidnapped the president of Venezuela and his wife. They don't really know what to make of that. He clearly hasn't ended the Ukraine war, which he promised to do on day one. They don't really know what to do with that. And here we are in March with a full-scale war in the Middle East that he has started. And I think this is the point at which Europe's saying, hang on, we've kind of played the game. We've gone towards his demands. We've pushed our own defense spending. We've actually managed to find accommodations to what we thought he was asking for. But fucking hell, where does this end, right? Because if he's still going to talk about invading Denmark, if he's still going to go in and start wars, if he's still going to go in and kidnap heads of state, what is the role of NATO in any of that? Why?
She asked some good questions.
An accomplice. That's what we.
So we went from, oh yeah, we'll do anything for you, Donnie. Rah, let's go. Then he pulled up and was like, yeah, I'm about to make stuff work. Hold on. You taking people? What did you take them out of it? He taking people. What you mean? You just gonna drop? What do you mean you gonna take Greenland? What they do to you? Nothing. You just want it?
It's like, yeah, we're gonna stop them, right? Yeah, we're gonna go in there and we're gonna make them go and bow down. Yeah, and then I'm gonna get my gun. And hold on, what? We ain't say all that.
I don't care. And then he like, I don't care what all you didn't say. I did that. Matter of fact, I ain't even doing. I'm doing, and I did that. And they're sitting there like, so. We praised you with positive reinforcement at the beginning, and you just said you didn't. You just don't even care. So now, think about it. Like they're trying to use negative reinforcement. So let's see how this goes. So let's continue. Where she's going to question NATO, and question, what y'all about to do with this? You hear your boy? He doing this thing. He doing this, and he don't care. What are y'all about to do? Who is going to stand up for real and say no? So let's see.
as you say, why should a defense organization, which is meant to be keeping the peace, which is meant to be stopping invaders like Putin or stopping invaders like Xi Jinping if he tries to do the same in Taiwan, why do we want to be part of a force which is bellicose, which is starting wars? And so I do think this is a kind of turning point for Europe. Starmer's superpower at the moment is being able to be boring, quite boring, not strident, not loud, not shouty, all the things that you normally think sort of stand against Starmer, which is like, oh, come on, show us your personality, or show us your drive, or show us your sort of the glint in your eye. Everyone's going, oh yeah, that's fine.
I think that's absolutely right. And I think that the measured tone of not getting into a pissing competition, frankly, with Donald Trump, where he kind of lets off a rhetorical hand grenade and you feel you've got to fire off a rhetorical missile in return. Keir Starmer's not doing that.
It's interesting what they think of their leadership. So I wanted to bring this up because we talked about, listen, we're open to go ahead and sign up for the military, baby. You can do it if you don't get in the beginning of your life. When you had a midlife crisis, come on over here. We got you. We recruit for this type of time. Meanwhile, in Europe, they're like, so he's doing what he wants. Or why are we a part of this? Like, what are we going to do? And their people just kind of like, listen, if we do anything, it's just going to cause more ruckus. And they're just kind of, their people are like, yeah, but isn't that the point of you being the person who the group representing us? Well, it's interesting. Yeah, I didn't want to say that out loud, plain dang. But shout out to Moot 9180. So wait a minute. He said ankles up Greenland?
Yeah, that's what he said.
I mean, that's basically what Donnie said.
That's
Donnie
basically
was
what's going on, yeah.
Donnie said,
I'm going.
No, I'm going. It's happening.
Don't come.
Yeah, it's going on. So
yeah,
we'll keep a close eye on the EU. I do want to bring that up because we can see what wheels are turning on their side, and from an international perspective to see what some of these other countries are doing. Cassius Pay, do you have anything before I move on to Volkswagen?
They completely switched sides.
They sure did.
I mean, like I don't know, man. I view the European Union as
you're gonna say what you think.
I'm just torn about the EU and NATO activities. Yes,
I mean outside the United States.
They have contributed greatly to certain causes, probably some causes that people didn't particularly care for, like Iraq, Afghanistan in particular. A lot of lives were lost and people have gotten hurt. So I understand being part of the hoot ride, as they say in the hood, right? Where you rolling or not, like, damn, Tay, I did not want to ride this time. I just wanted to go home. I wanted to have some snacks, but now we got to ride for the homies again. You know, I'm just trying to chill this time. I don't know if I'm gonna make it back this time. So, you know, certain groups having that kind of situation. Right, exactly. He said, right, let me out. Yeah. So that's where it's at. You know, Donnie Don said, I just wanted to see who was gonna ride anyway, right? They were supposed to ride and die, but they just want to ride.
They didn't either. They just sat and watched. Like when Day got his car scratched up. Right. Well, yeah, I think it's interesting with the EU. To me, before we move on to Volkswagen, what it shows me is that the US is the glue to NATO.
They don't know. Don't care about what's going on in the hood.
Wow.
Let me swing in the air real quick.
So that's what that tells me. It tells me
Where you
that-
had me alone, please. Come on. Come to that.
Wow.
And see.
So times is hard, right? And a lot of times in these days, you might be switching industries if you have to make some money, right? Make some money. Well, Volkswagen said, listen, we're not gonna leave no money, nothing left. We had to shut down one of our plants to make cars because people can buy. What? People don't have money. But you know what they do got money for? We got money for missiles though. So they said, listen, let's go ahead and get into the missile defense industry. So they made a deal with Israel's Iron Dome maker. So they are now shifting to doing that for Israel.
They're not doing it for Israel. They doing it for A&T.
The comments is crazy. This person said, working for 2 genocidal regimes in 2 centuries. Well done, Volkswagen.
Okay, so somebody knows about the history.
Yeah. There you go. It's crazy. So Volkswagen, German-made car. You didn't know. Well, actually,
I mean, it started out as airplane makers, right? So I mean, it's just war activities, you know. So a lot of people fabricated different things at the time. You make what the businesses are looking for. So somebody got to make it.
So
they have a history of it. They already know what's up. Go ahead.
They asked Grok, if Volkswagen is moving into missile defense with Iron Dome makers, are we witnessing a major shift from auto to defense industry, which is what I came in to say. So Grok said, it's not a whole shift, but hey, they've had some challenges in Europe. So yeah, they said, hey, I'm coming over, baby, to work on that Iron Dome and repurpose our factory so we can make these components. They got some government backing from Germany. And listen, they're diversifying diversifying their portfolio at this point, making sure they get some money.
Well, shit, I mean, be for real, like Volkswagen had some pretty hard ass hits in the last decade, right? The Jetta took some dives. They got caught essentially doping the cars, and they had to pay a hell of a lot of money and give back the cars because of the whole EPA stuff where they was juicing them, essentially giving the cars steroids on the computers so they could pass the test. So that's their time to shine to go back to the roots and make some of that money back. So when your car
Tony
company
Stark did have to start somewhere. You right.
Yeah.
You right. You actually right. You actually
right. Joe know about it. Yeah. See, look at that. We got some well-read people in here that are able to correlate some of these activities on why some of the businesses would do what they do, because it is just business. And when the opportunity presents itself, you better cut off your nose to spite your face, is what they say.
There you go. Going back to the grassroots is what they said. It was founded in 1937 under the directions of Adolf Hitler. So comments going crazy.
When your car company wants in on missile defense, you know where the long-term money is. That's all I'm gonna say.
What diesel mileage lawsuit? I don't know nothing about no diesel mileage lawsuit.
I just high level explained it where they had huge recalls. Essentially, people got to drive their cars around for free for like a year and some change. So that was one. They didn't have to pay for it. Then they turned it in essentially and was able to have another free car. So yeah, they lost a lot of money globally for that one. Everybody was in on that action. I knew a couple people that had 2 Jettas, and they went in. They went in. Yeah.
That is a great segue on losing money, because we're gonna get into actions have aftermath. Let's get into your boy. Let's talk about Meta, because you sure don't like the metaverse so much that they are shutting it down, like you said. But they had already put $80 billion into the project. $80 billion, y'all.
You can't make fetch happen with them floating half bodies. But let's go.
Since 2020. So it's not being completely shut down, but it's pivoting its focus towards AI and mobile first experience.
Yeah, okay. So if anybody following what the hell Meta doing, don't do it. Because that's already letting you know it's about to bomb. That means that
this is funny.
A slow
80
death.
billion said 80 billion to look like that is crazy.
Yeah. I had a meeting with a dude that he showed up with that damn avatar, right? I'm like, what the hell you got going on? He's like, I got my headset on, I got my VR. I said, what the fuck are you doing? I'm working at the same time. I'm being productive. I was like, dude, you floating with a half a damn body. What are you doing looking like this on my screen? It's extremely. I'd rather you just go off camera, please. Because I was like, you gonna go on camera? Because it was a one-on-one. And he popped up with that shit. I'm like, oh, you a bastard for this. I didn't say it out loud, but I definitely thought it. Like,
oh,
you being
funny.
weird as hell for what? Well, I have 9 screens up virtually, so I'm working while I'm talking to you. Like, no, you playing around with this goddamn VR headset that you got going on.
Look at his face though.
Motherfucking Sims, like, oh.
So look, hear me out. Now look,
I'm in Paris right now. Can you see it?
But look, though, hear me out. Where
I'm
I
at
think they went
I'm at the
wrong.
Eiffel Tower right now. Can you see me? No.
Hear me out. And this is going to segue into our next part because this is all about Meta. Action 7 Aftermath is all about Meta. Meta said, hey. So Meta said, hey, we're about to give you a virtual experience called the metaverse where you can go meet people and be like, hey, what's up? It's me. It's what I look like. Yada. Okay, so look, let's keep it real. Drop some drip in the comments. Did you play The Sims? Now listen, anybody who played The Sims, were you going around just be like, hey, how you doing? Hey, how you doing? Hey, how? No. Everybody was trying to get in the hot tub. They was trying to catch somebody in the bathroom. They was trying to get them to touch parts that they should not have been touching.
That's all that was going to be anyway.
But hold on, this is where they went wrong. Because this is what Metaverse should have did.
Nah, there's people are going to do that anyway, regardless. Sex sells.
They ain't doing it. That's why they down 80 billion. Because they could have replaced OnlyFans.
No, they were not. Because you can't see the bottom half. So there's no OnlyFans.
Oh, you're right. It's floating. Yeah, they got to work on the bottom parts. They got to work on the parts that matter now.
What I actually feel sorry for is the companies that bought the virtual real estate and they're thinking that they were going to integrate tokens and everything. All of them taking those losses are going to be like exactly because that's who really
feel bad
lost.
for them. I don't feel bad
I'm
for
just
them.
saying. Yeah, it's just bad.
Well,
I knew they weren't gonna make fetch happen with that when they put on them damn glasses, and I was like, this is terrible. Like, what are you doing? Like, this look like what's that? The pixel shit that the kids was doing like these days. They had that damn movie, Minecraft. That's what it looked like. That's what it looked like. $80 billion Minecraft. You could have made your own server to look like that and just made some money with a Minecraft server. Do the same damn thing.
Well, not only did they lose,
she could put them blocky ass toes out there with the pixelated ass toes. But the thing is that they would just be imaginary because you wouldn't have feet in the metaverse.
No, first of all, Joe, don't do that. Don't do that, Joe. No, I'm not gonna have a foot page in the metaverse. Okay, no. But that would be smart with what, but the feet look like blocks, so that ain't gonna help. So as we talk about metaverse, so he said, you know what? I'm gonna invest 80 billion. Okay, cool. You invested 80 billion. Now you lost 80 billion. Not only did you lose 80 billion, but let's talk about this because you finna lose some more money. That lawsuit that YouTube and Meta got, they lost it. Let me show you how it's impacting them. If you haven't heard about it, you're about to now. Tune in.
Breaking news, a verdict in the landmark case addressing the power and influence of social media. A Los Angeles jury today finding Meta and YouTube negligent in the design or operation of their platforms and saying the companies failed to warn users of the dangers of their services. The jurors found that the tech giant's platforms harmed a young user with features that made her addicted and led to mental health problems.
Tokens.
So this is somebody, I believe there were 3 young women. One is currently an adult. The other 2 are still minors, if I'm not mistaken. And so the lawsuit was one had like body dysmorphia. The other one had an addiction to just social media screens, so forth. The other one had it was around mental health issues of self-esteem and how you see yourself and how you view the world. Like actually saying that these companies have basically shaped their vision of the world. And because of their targeting, they are directly the root cause of these mental health issues they have. That was found to be true. So that is this case. You got anything, Cash, to say before I move on? I'm gonna play some more. I'm gonna play it more, but not like move on to something else. So you too old.
I'm just saying, like I'm just from an era where if you're not allowed to do something, then somebody's taking away the thing that you're not allowed to do. So
what you saying there? Parents just stepped in and been like, listen, you over here shitter and you need to go lay down.
I'm gonna take your tablet away. I'm gonna take whatever phone away or whatever.
No,
because yeah, and I pay the bill. So
because you see them videos.
Well, I'm just saying, like, then don't get it for them. If you see the long-term ramifications of these things, you can be a parent. You have the right to parent your children. You have a right to not buy those things. You have a right to have an independent mindset, maybe even a growth mindset. Let's go into that. You can have a growth mindset too, and not play victim to everything. Protect your neck. We gonna go.
I'll play a little bit more of this, and we'll have a little more of a discussion, and then we'll move on to the last part of the Meta files.
The trial, which included testimony from Meta CEO Mark Zuckerberg, was the first lawsuit of its kind to go to trial. In separate statements, Meta and Google, YouTube's parent company, saying they disagree with today's verdict and plan to appeal. Today's verdict comes just one day after a jury in New Mexico ordered Meta to pay $375 million after determining that Meta concealed what it knew about child sexual exploitation on its platform. Meta says it plans to appeal that verdict as well. Joining me now is Jacob Ward, veteran.
All this money going all over the place. Zuck, like, listen, I'm about to go in that bunker today, baby. What is going on? Y'all coming for my money.
They got insurance to handle that, but his insurance rate gonna go up.
So definitely. Another reason why they got the guilty verdict, they didn't get into that quite yet, is there was someone who used to work for Mark Zuckerberg in the Meta offices, and there is direct evidence, from what I understand, where the person said, yo, if you keep doing this, you about to have kids addicted, B. And allegedly, Zuck was just kind of like, it's a business.
Oh, yeah. Then he accepted the risk.
Roll that. He said, roll it, baby. What you mean? I hope they got that mommy and that daddy, because it sure ain't me.
Right, I'm not your daddy. I ain't having it.
But that person right there had to be basically a whistleblower. Like, listen, I came with the details. I explained this is a risk. These are other things we could do to not make the company at risk, and is negligence because someone brought it to them with the risk and information. They were like, not my baby, not my problem.
Negligence is different than calculated risk. And what it looks like is that the jury recommended $6 million in damages for one of the plaintiffs. And it's like what 70-30 Meta to Google on that one for malice, oppression, and fraud. But when you think about it, I think they came out because 6 million to one or a few. What they're going to try to do is try to stop precedent. They're going to appeal because they're not going to want to have a class action thing happen. But for this, I think they came out pretty good because I think they made a little bit more than 6 million, especially over whatever the time period is supposed to be.
Well, Zuck gonna have to get that money somewhere. And y'all already know what they do. This is where they finna get that money. So let's go ahead. Let's hear about it.
More layoffs at Meta. Mackenzie Sagalis joins us with the details. So what's happening there, Mackenzie? So, Sarah, we're hearing from a source familiar that Meta's planning to lay off several hundred employees today across the company. BI was the first to report that those layoffs were imminent. The company is chalking this up to a regular restructure, adding that some are being offered other roles, though relocation may be required. And the cuts are coming one day after a New Mexico jury ruled against Meta. This was.
They took our money. They said they're not taking it from my pockets. They're taking it from EO pockets.
No, I said let's check and see how many people got shares and still here. Hey, yeah, I remember you, Ted. You had that idea talking about Flo Nass. Oh, okay, Flo Nass. You're fired.
Black feet.
Black feet. Oh yeah, I've said that. Yeah, it was cool. Oh yeah, them big ass blocky ass headsets, huh? Oh, you said they were gonna use it at work. They was gonna float their ass around on a job, huh? Okay, how about you float your ass out of here? You're fired.
Not Joe. Joe said he wanted to make a lawsuit because he said his false advertisers they had no donkeys on the. Wow. Let's continue with it. He's killing me right now.
The company's first child safety loss in court, but investors shrugged it off in part because they were only ordered to pay $375 million in civil damages, a fraction of what prosecutors were looking for. But this case, it is only one front in a much larger legal fight. A jury in LA has already spent more than a week deliberating in a bellwether case against Meta and YouTube over addictive design allegations. Later this year, similar claims head to federal court against Meta, YouTube, TikTok, and Snap. And then in May, Meta's back in court in New Mexico for a bench trial that could force actual changes to the platform, including the way minors use encrypted messaging.
So I have heard that they're already going to do the end-to-end encryption removal on the DMs on Instagram. So that way they can use AI to target ads to see what you're talking about in the messaging to start ad targeting. So
well, that's for money. It's not for safety.
It's definitely for money and not for safety. But they finna get their money back one way or another. Is all I'm bringing up with this is that this is the journey that we are seeing Meta on. Meta said, "Hey, this great idea was $480 billion, and we got all the money." And back then things were good, right? 2020, 2019, it has a couple dollars, you know. Then the Rona hit and people were in the house and like, yo, we really got to get this off because people are going to be inside. So they tried to build that out and then it went. Well, unfortunately, when it went, right, the economy's not doing the greatest, right? Inflation is high. And now you getting lawsuits pulled, just coming out your butt, just lawsuit. Where y'all think they gonna get this money, baby? They getting it from you. If you work at Meta, they getting it from you. So my thing is, if you work at Meta today, baby, be ready to not work at Meta tomorrow. Because what they just told you in that last video is that there are more lawsuits coming. And I would challenge folks, not telling you to do anything, telling you not to, but I would challenge folks to just look into how often was there a substantial amount of money that had to be relinquished from the company, and now all of a sudden, AI is taking jobs. We just need to run more efficiently. We overhired. Or did you get oversued? Or did you owe somebody?
Both things could be true at the same time. So.
I'm just saying, if you are worried about your job or you're wondering, could it be? Take a look at some of these lawsuits. Follow the money. Follow the money.
Or lack thereof. Because I'm sure that Meta wasn't making a damn dollar. They early adopters of those headsets, people started seeing, ghost ass floating around. It was like, this shit is whack. And then I'm out. That's pretty much.
No, you was gonna have to put some coochie up there.
No, come on.
I'm saying you were going. I'm being real. You was gonna have to do that because, like I said, drop some drip in the comments if you played The Sims. Drop some drip in the comments if you played The Sims to not have any kind of sexualized interaction. Like if you didn't, I'd be surprised. But I would say
The Sims had control issues. They wanted to control whole groups of people and what they did, feed them and stuff like gigapets. Y'all a bunch of weirdos.
But I mean, you can do that in the metaverse. But like I said, the aspect that's missing.
No, you show up to the metaverse and is somebody with a clown face, somebody with a donkey face, and y'all playing Pinochle and other virtual card games together. The same shit you was already gonna do online. You playing virtual chess, but y'all got on sweaty ass goggles that's 4 pounds in the front of your eyes, and when you get off the game, you got neck pain. You ain't even did nothing for the next strain.
Well, all right, y'all. That was Actions Have Aftermath. So let's get into Rewind and Rethink. Listen, right? If they did not have that, Joe, this with people. I mean, they may still play, but like you got people who really ain't into it that's still playing. You know what I'm saying? Because they into it to see them vibe, right?
Do that again. What they got to do?
Vibe like that. Speaking of vibing, we're gonna end the show with your boy Drewski. He at it again. Let's talk about it. If you haven't seen it, I'm gonna show you now.
He done pissed off a whole bunch of people.
A whole bunch of people.
War is raging in Iran.
We're praying for all the soldiers and troops.
That's great that you're praying, but how about all the kids that died when the USA hit the towers?
It broke my heart. That is the.
Let me not get in trouble for that. Was the music come on?
Ways have you grown closer to Jesus?
I serve a righteous God. And that is why we say our prayers. And we are all his children. But when I say children, I mean like the holy, blessed Trinity, which is why I hold the Bible.
This too. I don't need Meek Mill trying to sue me for that. Listen, I ain't heard nothing new from him. So never know. Just say we heard nothing new from somebody. Don't play that music because they coming for every piece.
From Chai Ice Matcha. And Bella will have all organic pop cup. Organic? Yes, everything organic.
So I'll stop it there. So if you don't know who Drewski is a comedian, and he pretty much will do anybody. I've seen him do Nigerian people. I've seen him do obviously rappers, all colors of people, all shades of people. As far as like being a comedian, this part is funny though.
All white men in America. Those are the boys that we care about in this country. America is built on their backs.
He's like, what?
Yes. Because they are the ones who mattered most.
That not the
unfortunately, like
is
a
wild.
lot of this, it's only like gentle satire, to be for real, but hey, that's where we're at. If we can't laugh at certain components of things, or kind of like with the whole Dave Chappelle situation, right? Key and Peele. Those types of
Yeah, people are saying that
opportunities.
he did whiteface, and so they're upset about that, right? Okay. If you've seen Tropic Thunder, put a 1 in the chat. Put a 1 in the chat. If you have seen Tropic Thunder, put a 1 in the chat. I have seen it a long time ago. I personally I kind of thought the movie was dumb. So honestly, I didn't even know that Robert Downey Jr. was playing, essentially painting himself black dude. I didn't even know. For me, I just thought the movie was dumb. So
that shit was hilarious.
But not because of that. Like I said, at the time I didn't know. But okay, so y'all have seen it. Okay, cool. If you have seen it, do you think that it's the equivalent of Drewski? And that hold on. Put a 1 in the chat if you think that Drewski doing this is the same as Tropic Thunder. Put a 2 in the chat if you think it's different. If you think that is different, even though you've seen the movie. Because I'm going to ask you why, if you hit that 2. I want to know why. Here's my thing. Drewski apparently has a... Oh, okay. Okay, so you think it's different. 1 and 2? Okay, we got 1s, we got 2s in the chat. Okay. Apparently, Drewski got a whole white grandfather. So apparently... This is his
so he does it from experience. Okay. He's very proud of it.
And this is like, it's ain't like, looks like he's still alive.
He's very much alive. And
this is a new picture of Drewski right here.
Well, it's Instagram. So I'm sure that is.
Well, no, I meant I'm talking about the billboard. That's Drewski on that billboard. I'm saying like that's a new one of him. So here's my thing. Like, people would say like, well, he's kind of mixed. Like, well, that's, like, what if I have any, but I think there's levels to it, right? To me, and this is my opinion, I personally, in my opinion, think that you should be able to claim essentially that you are that lineage if you could get a benefit from that. What I mean by that, if you were to go and let's say your grandfather passed away or your grandfather was in the military, that only goes to their kids and their grandkids. It doesn't go beyond that. That's it. They go 2 generations deep. So to me, you're 2 generations removed. That's fair game. So if your grandparent or your parent, yes, because that's direct lineage right there. No different than, I believe the government usually takes a similar stance to that. In many ways to request benefits, if I'm not mistaken, like to be a Native American and stuff like that. You can't be like, it's my great grandma. Like, I don't think that it's only so many levels removed. And so if that's his grandfather, he's part white. He would be at least, what, 25%?
20.
Depending on what's going on with his dad, well, maybe less than that. But depending on what's going on with his dad's side, he's hovering between 15 and 20%.
Not going into like post Reconstruction times.
No, but the reason why I'm saying that is because, like, if you were talking about a great grandkid, you're looking at the 1 to 3%. So you see what I'm saying? Like, it starts diluting as you go down. So to me, Drewski, shout out to Play Name. Yes, Drewski. No one is safe. But also, I don't know if his grandfather's white. How can he do whiteface? He's essentially a generation removed from being white himself. I don't know.
It's because I feel a certain kind of way. I think that is whatever.
Yes.
But the way that he does it is in a way where It is
He didn't make up
satirical.
nothing. He
Right,
didn't make
and-
up nothing. That's real-ish stuff. That's
Right.
And he
he's-
didn't name
and he's
any
also-
names.
He's also utilizing the technology of today, no different than, say, for instance, like White Chicks, which was a cult classic. You can go back to Tropic Thunder, which we can go back and talk about because you were having questions there, but I'll give my high level on that, where I thought it was a hilarious movie for the fact that it was genius on how it was set up, as far as, we'll call it, the bit. It was layered as far as the quote unquote blackface was concerned, because he was an actor playing a dude that was disguised as the other dude that was playing the guy. So it was, and he stayed there. So it's like method acting, kind of like how Leonardo DiCaprio, where when he played the slave master in Django, like he wouldn't talk to Jamie Foxx because he was so disgusted because he was method acting, right? Same thing occurs when you can get in there and actually play a role. Like it's also borderline insanity. Like you have to really put yourself there in another space, another mindset, another frame of mind, and sometimes another time. So yeah, I'm a dude playing a dude disguised as another dude.
I want to know what
know
that
who I am.
conversation was like when they came in there to pitch that movie to him. Like,
I'm
what
pretty
was that
sure
like?
He thought that
Like,
shit was crazy. He was like, you know what? I could probably do it. And to me, it was one of, like, everybody liked the turn Tony Stark thing, but when he first came back into acting, I thought this was a very good movie to display not only comedy, but how he can take himself there and not change character. He stayed in frame that whole damn time. Crazy. For those who haven't seen Tropic Thunder, go back and see that one. It's a couple of stupid ass scenes that I like. The one where homeboy was getting shot up, the main character was yeah. They do the slow motion where basically he had his I'm getting shot up moment with bad acting, like not Steven Seagal, even though he's a bad actor too. But Nicolas Cage, he's all right as an actor. But Jean-Claude, just that over Pierre with the
Look, listen, y'all don't know about me, man. Listen, I used to watch wrestling, all the fighting stuff. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, but everybody already knows about that era.
Bloodsport. That's what that
fight.
movie was. That was Bloodsport, by the way. That's So
it's gymnast ass. They don't know shit about Pierre.
So Plain Dane put up there that I thought the whole skit was funny. It was funny because he's making a play on stuff that literally happened, but like he's just embellishing, right? And I think
that's Antonio Banderas right there. Everybody know that scene. It was very weird, where it was almost like real life, where he was an assassin or whatever, and they both lost the guns and they were fighting. He was just like, oh fuck yeah.
Wow.
That's like, wow. That
might have just been real.
A way to snap a neck. All right.
That might have just been the way. That might have been just what he was feeling. So I wanted to bring this back up, but yes, it is because Erica is a grieving widow in the manner in which she lost her husband, right? However, she did take herself on the stage with the wrestler fireworks. Like, and he's not the first one to do that. I saw someone do a video where she was crouched down in the Spider-Man stands and popped up on the stage and was like coming out like a wrestler and stuff. Now, she didn't do none of that. In real life, she didn't do none of that. But people have these different things that they're joking about that, no different than what he's joking about. And then some of those, he's using her as a reference to just in general So like the organic thing, I don't know if her puppy eats organic. I don't even know if she got a puppy. I don't know.
Just a
But it
whole,
wasn't just her.
because it
Like, I just
wasn't
wanted,
just her, right?
yeah,
He was
it's
talking about
not just
how
her.
the culture is.
Correct. So I just wanted to bring that up, that yes, she's a grieving widow, but everything that he had in there was not just like, oh, I want to just say this about her. She was used as the satirical point of the things she did. She did come out with the what do you call it? The things of came out like a wrestler. Yeah, sparklers. Yeah, she did come out to the sparklers, and like it was I don't know, a concert or something. I've never seen anything like it. Maybe that's what she was going for, is you never see something like it. And girl, yeah, if you did that. Never seen nothing like that before.
Right.
Okay.
It's like Shaq going to great grandpa's funeral with the Jabberwockies coming out talking about great grandpa died. Can you dig it? Literally doing all that. So yeah, it's just a weird thing. But yeah.
So
let us retire.
Yeah, that was all that I had. I had one more video I was going to talk about, showing a biracial couple that gave birth to twins. One's a white baby, one's a black baby, but they're twins, and genetically this can happen. I don't think we got to go that route because we already kind of splashed that here. All right, y'all. So it's been a smooth 90 minutes with y'all that y'all have been dripping with me. I very much appreciate you. Before we get out of here, though, I do want to drop some nice little late night drip for y'all. Some a little sweet. I know a lot of people have a lot of hard times going on right now. We hope that this show gives y'all a little bit of an uplift, provides you insights into things going on, but just have a little more lightheartedness. So, especially towards the end. So just want to drop a little drip to let y'all know that we're here every Friday. Come kick it with us. Tell your friends, tell your family, tell 2 people you like and someone you don't. Plain Dane will be here next week. No, Joe, ain't no OnlyFans announcement. But you
Here's
can
my
check out.
feet. Can you dig it? Oh, she's getting lift them toes up.
So make sure y'all check out the community page. We'll have some different things up there for you to vote on, because we do have merch coming, and I do want to make sure, and we want to make sure that it's stuff that y'all would actually like. So giving us that feedback is so helpful. Like I said, we're here to make sure that we give y'all the news, politics, tech, just like the song. There you go. Right there. What she just said. Okay. Hit that like button if you haven't yet. Hit that like button. If you're not subscribed, tell 2 people you like, someone you don't. We will see y'all here next Friday, 11:30 EST. Sometimes y'all gotta let my computer reboot up. I might be a couple minutes late. Gotta get cute. No, I'm just kidding. Appreciate y'all. We'll see y'all next Friday. Thank you, Cassius Pay, for rocking with me, and we will see y'all then. Remember, hit that like button if you haven't yet. We'll see y'all next Friday. Mwah, we out. Really? On my outro, though? Wow.
That's what happened when you give me the
Shout out
button.
to Joe. Shout out to Joe. We appreciate you popping up. Shout out to Plain Dane popping in the comments. All right, y'all. See y'all next Friday. Bye.